You're listening to Where You Live with Gene Sullivan.
Welcome back to Where You Live. I'm Gene Sullivan, and I'm broadcasting from the True North Painting Studios. Also brought to you by Extreme Exteriors and American Family Insurance, the Kim Bennett Agency. Before we get on to our next topic, and I've got a couple of guests with me in the studio today, I'd like to let all our listeners know that we've got a free gift for you. We put together a bi-monthly newsletter called What's New. A lot of what we talk about on the show, we talk in further detail. A lot of the people that we have on the show will also be authors for articles in that newsletter, too. It's yours free for the asking. Give us a call during the week at New Concepts, 952-922-2500. Ask for Lori, and she'll make sure that you start receiving your newsletter either electronically or by mail. Well, I'm really happy to have in the studio with me today some people that are going to do some trash talking. And that's right. But a little bit different than probably what you were thinking. Just a little bit ago, I think maybe about a month ago or a few weeks ago anyway, at New Concepts, we tried to have different people come in and share and keep our property managers up to date with everything that's going on. And one of our guests was there today, and I thought that what he had to share was so good that I said, my listeners need to hear this too. And so I'm happy to have with me two people today from Randy Sanitation, the Executive Vice President for Randy Sanitation, Jim Walschlager. Welcome, Jim.
Thank you.
And also with him, Dave Heppel, who's Key Accounts and Sustainability Manager. Good morning, Dave.
Good afternoon, Gene. Thanks for having us.
Now, what is a Sustainability Manager?
Sustainability Manager is a person that goes out, takes a look at the waste flow within a company, association, and tries to determine, are they achieving their goals for recycling to their highest level? Okay. And that's what I do.
Okay. Now, for a lot of people have heard of Randy's here in the Twin Cities. Some haven't. Tell us, Jim, a little bit, maybe the elevator speech about the company. How long has Randy's been around? What areas do you cover? What are some of the services that you provide? Because it's more than just trash.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. Randy and Sandy started Randy Sanitation in 1979, and Randy bought a route in a truck, and Sandy started doing the books with the kids running around at her feet in the office, and we've grown now to 230 employees, and we run over 100 trucks. I'm proud to say we were the first company in the metro to introduce compressed natural gas trucks to our industry in Minnesota, and we did that last year. So we've got 100 drivers out there, 110 drivers out there collecting trash, recycling, roll-off, whatever our customers need. We run a document destruction division as well and have 3 mobile document destruction division trucks.
Yeah, that's really big, document destruction. I know, every year we've got all kinds of just private information you don't want to just toss away.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we have a transfer station as part of our operation, and from time to time it's amazing to see what ends up on the tip floor, what people just throw away without giving any thought to who may see that. So,
yeah. Now, it'd be kind of hard because, there's a couple of huge, big players, of course, in the Twin Cities, and a lot of times you see smaller companies get snatched up, but you guys just seem to continue to hang on and continue to grow.
Well, hopefully Dave is a perfect example of that. We go further than most companies do, in my estimation, my opinion on customer service. Dave is out there meeting with his management companies and with our key accounts all the time and ensuring that what they expect they're going to have for service is actually taking place in their operation. As Dave mentioned, he goes out and does waste characterization studies on site and looks at how the company is taking care of their recycling and their trash. And many times the management of a company, in your case, your management company would contract for recycling and trash services, and you expect your employees are following your goal for that operation, but when you get in there and look at it, you find, holy smokes, it's not really happening.
Yeah, no, that's why I really appreciate about you guys, and Dave, I've appreciated you over the years, with our company at New Concepts, because you help us as property managers to have a broader understanding, because our job at the end of the day is making recommendations to the client, to the end user, why this would be best. And so I appreciate that. And one of the things that caught my attention just a few weeks ago was something, I guess it's really not new for you guys. You've been doing it for a couple of years now, but it's the area of organics or organic recycling. Talk about that. What is that?
Yeah, we've actually been doing it close to 9 years.
9 years?
Yeah, it started with a pilot project, a joint pilot project with Hennepin County and the city of Wayzata. That's one of our contract cities. So we collect every home there. And they had $100,000 that they had been given by the state of Minnesota to do a pilot project on source-separate organics, which is the organic fraction of your household waste that could be composted. That's food waste, that's soiled paper products, that's tissue, that's anything that it came from the earth that can go back to the earth.
Coffee grounds, we're talking egg shells, we're talking egg cartons, but it doesn't include grease, right?
Yeah, it doesn't include fats and oils. It doesn't include any plastic products. It doesn't include cat litter, for example, things like that. So when we sat down with Hennepin County and Wayzata to put some goals together for their program, it was important to us, we're a very conservative company, and it was important to us that at the end of the day, it can't rely on $100,000 for each community that this is going to go to. This has to be a sustainable model. It has to make sense from a business standpoint, and there has to be a benefit to the customer in Wayzata, but there also has to be a benefit to the resident of the next community that decides to do this. We now have 11 different communities that we do curbside collection of source-separated organics on. The program has grown tremendously. If you look at, there was a study released by the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency October of this year, and they did waste sorts at 7 different processing and landfills and transfer station facilities. It represented over 1 million tons of waste. 500,000 tons of that waste is organic waste that could be composted, that is either going into waste energy facilities where the burn value of that material is half of what else you could put in there, or it's going into a landfill.
Yeah.
And our programs are designed to divert that material from the landfill or from the waste energy facilities and into a compost site.
I think it's really important what you said. It's bottom line, it's got to make sense. Sometimes in the argument, people get very passionate about the environment, but bottom line, I don't think anybody wants an ugly environment. I don't want to drink bad water any more than anybody else, or I think anybody else around here, but it's got to make sense, and that's been key. So let me ask you this question: is it something that has, and obviously it has, made sense economically and otherwise for the people that you've been doing this for now for 9 years?
Oh, absolutely. And if you took your own home, for example, and looked at what you put in your trash can and what goes in there that could either be recycled or go into the bin that your source-separated organics would go into, when you get all done, you have very little trash left, and you're paying your hauler, whoever's picking up your household trash, you're paying based on volume.
Yeah. Now, you talked about, the amount, I think, in terms of tons or size, but what percentage of that is either going into landfills or going into, you said the other thing is being burned, but very inefficiently? Right?
Yes, exactly. If it goes into a waste energy facility, the burn value of organics is about 50% of the burn value of something like a plastic or a wood waste or something else. So it has no value in there. And if you look at the life cycle of organics, for example, if you put a water bottle in your recycling and that goes off to be ground into a plastic flake of some kind and goes off to make something else, that material may end up in Alabama. It could end up maybe in Minnesota, who knows where, to be reused. The organics that you separate from your trash goes into your compost, into your, in our case, the blue bag for organics, goes off to the compost facility, and 6 months later it comes back to your house in a bag of compost that you can use to plant your flowers. You can put it on your yard as an amendment to your soil. It has a lot of value. It's jobs right here in Minnesota, and it stays right here in Minnesota.
So it's creating jobs.
Absolutely.
Let me ask you, what kind of space do you need to compost all that kind of
Well,
material?
it typically, it's funny because we've had the opportunity to work with some clients out east in New Hampshire and Maine and Massachusetts. And if you look at their sites, their sites might take up an acre and a half because it's a very small site and they deal with a very small clientele. If you look at the facilities that are here at SET, that facility is designed to take 20,000 tons of material a year, so it encompasses many acres.
Okay, so and in terms of, is that large enough for the Twin City area?
It's large enough for the Twin City area now. There's additional sites coming online, but every one of these companies that specialize in this were there a long time ago when there was 2,000 tons coming in a year. If you look at Hennepin County, for example, they're at about 12,000 tons a year of material, most of that coming from Randy's customers. That's scheduled over the next 5 years to be at 20,000 tons. We'd like to see that be 40,000 tons.
Well, hey, we've got to take a break right now, but I'm glad I've got you guys for another segment. Don't go away. I will have more with my guest, Executive Vice President Jim Walschlager, and also Key Accounts and Sustainability Manager Dave Heppel from Randy Sanitation after these messages.